What brought you out here today?
Well, here's a flyer that was right. Senator's got around 700 in the and he has filed a bill for consideration by the legislators here in Massachusetts that would increase the fines for possession of marijuana in a car to $1,000, regardless of what you're doing in the car, and also potentially recriminalize possession of marijuana in a car. And we think that's ridiculous, because exactly 66.17% of the constituents within his senatorial district voted for a $100 fine and the decriminalization of marijuana. And we think that not listening to those voters, and in fact trying to override the wishes of those voters, is similar to fascism. And we're pointing that out with our flyers.
What group are you from?
Massachusetts Cannabis Reform Coalition.
You were influential in passing cannabis, or passing questions.
Yes, we were.
Why do you think that it's wrong to pass the increased fine in cars? I mean, do you think that has anything to do with trying to stop people from smoking marijuana and driving?
Well, that's not what the law says. I've got the law right here, as a matter of fact. And it says any person possess any amount of marijuana in the passenger area of any motor vehicle. So he's not trying to punish the driver. He's trying to punish anyone in a car. And people who, whether they've smoked marijuana or not, really. When the voters voted for a $100 fine, they weren't saying, "Oh, we only want a $100 fine for people who are out in the middle of the woods." I mean, they realized, of course, that most people who were caught smoking marijuana or in possession of marijuana were caught in circumstances like being in cars. And do we want to encourage people to participate in our democracy? I would say yes. And if you override the will of the people who have voted, then I can think that would be extremely discouraging. And not only that, it's a sign of incredible disrespect for the voters' wishes.
Where are you from?
I'm a resident of Reading, Massachusetts, but our organization has hundreds of members from all over the state.
What got you involved?
I've been involved myself personally since 1989, and I was involved for several reasons. Probably the most important of which was I felt it was a huge waste of government money to prosecute people for marijuana crimes. It fills our jails with nonviolent offenders. It takes up jail space that could be used for people who are harming other people. And it takes police resources away from enforcing crimes where there are victims. And it directs them toward enforcing crimes where it's difficult to find a victim.
Are you for the full legalization of marijuana?
We like to refer to it as the regulation.
Regulation?
Right.
Meaning?
Because when people think of legalization of marijuana, they think having it available everywhere. And really, that's not what anybody's looking for. What people are looking for is a logical, regulated scheme for the distribution. That requires people who distribute marijuana have licenses and have the potential of losing that license if they don't obey the rules. Just like with tobacco or alcohol or any of the other substances that we've regulated. And one of the reasons for that, of course, is really the only drug that we've had good success with decreasing the use of recreational drug is tobacco. And we didn't do it by criminalizing tobacco users. And I don't think we're going to be able to successfully do so by criminalizing marijuana users either. In fact, since marijuana has been criminalized here in Massachusetts in 1911, usage rates have soared. So if anything, criminalization of marijuana has made marijuana a far more popular drug than it ever would have been.
Do you think that if Senator Brown's laws pass, it's more useful to use? Are you saying that, or is that really?
No. I'm saying that it would be overriding the will of the voters. The express will of the voters. 66.17% of them. That's more than 2 to 1 in his district said that they didn't want the war on marijuana users to be, pumped up the way it has been for all these years. They wanted it decreased. They wanted to see more reasonable ways of dealing with marijuana possession. And Senator Brown just doesn't get it. Even though the voters told him 2 to 1, you would think he would understand. But apparently he either doesn't understand or he just doesn't give a damn.
Why do you think that Senator Brown is so adamant about, in fact, recriminalizing marijuana?
That's difficult for me to say. I'm not sure if I can divine his motives. It's certainly not a popular thing to do. But who knows? Maybe he thinks he's doing the right thing. Unfortunately, he's obviously mistaken. Here he comes if you'd like to speak with him.